magnificent story ever. From creation to Jesus, the Line It Up series.
Hey guys, I'm Michael from eKids.
That's me.
So check it out. We're going to learn these big topics.
Creation, the fall, promises, slavery, Passover,
Law.
kingdom, temple, exile, and of course Jesus.
We'll even talk about the Psalms. In the Old Testament, guys, there are some ups and there are some downs.
Down.
And all these ups and downs actually lead to Jesus.
Wow.
Are you ready?
Yep.
So God created the whole world. Things were good. But then we messed up. So that's bad. But the thing is that God promised to help us. He gave us covenants, and like a covenant's like a deal, like, you know, shaking hands. It's like a deal. So God made deals with us to make things better. But guess what we did? We messed up. We didn't follow the deal. And the Israelites ended up in slavery. Bad again. But what ends up happening is people turn their eyes to God, they begin following God again, and then He saves them, and they have the Passover about how God saves His people. They end up crossing the Red Sea and being free again. And when they cross that Red Sea and they're free, God gives them the law, a bunch of rules and things. But for now, know that they didn't exactly obey the law that well, and things got worse. Instead of really wanting God to be their king, well, they wanted to have people as their king. So they created a kingdom. Some of that's good and some of that's bad. But what's great is that they built a temple to worship God in. So that's a good thing. And after that, the worst thing happens is they end up in exile because they turn their eyes from God again. And exile means that they were told to go away from their home and didn't rule their own home. So that was really bad. But later, in the New Testament, we find that the answer to all this is Jesus. See this over here? We have God who's like good.
Yep.
Everything's fine. God's good. When we're close to God, things are good.
Yeah, but...
We're down here because when we're not close to God, bad. But what God does to help us to get closer to Him is salvation. Check this out. The Old Testament shows us salvation over and over and over and over and over.
Over and 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 over again.
Things are good. We mess up. We turn to God. Things are good again. We mess up. We turn to God. Things are good again. We mess up. We turn to God. Things are good again. We mess up. We turn to God. Things are good again.
Over and over and over. And that's called salvation. And that's called salvation. In your life, you might do bad things. But when you turn to God, that's called salvation.
Wow.
The first time you ever do it, you get saved.
Yep.
So you guys ready to hear the next story? All right, check it out.
Okay, let's learn about the Psalms.
Here we go.
In the days that followed, David struck hard at the Philistines. He brought them to their knees and took control of the countryside. He also fought and defeated Moab. He chose 2/3 of them randomly and executed them. The other third he spared. So the Moabites fell under David's rule and were forced to bring tribute. On his way to restore his sovereignty at the river Euphrates, David next defeated Hadadezer, son of Rehob, the king of Zobah. He captured from him 1,000 chariots, 7,000 cavalry, and 20,000 infantry. He hamstrung all the chariot horses, but saved back 100. When the Arameans from Damascus came to the aid of Hadadezer, king of Zobah, David killed 22,000 of them. David set up a puppet government in the Aram Damascus. The Arameans became subjects of David and were forced to bring tribute. God gave victory to David wherever he marched. David plundered the gold shields that belonged to the servants of Hadadezer and brought them to Jerusalem. He also looted a great quantity of bronze from Teba and Barathai, cities of Hadadezer. Toi, king of Hamath, heard that David had struck down the entire army of Hadadezer, so he sent his son Joram to King David to greet and congratulate him for fighting and defeating them, for Toi and Hadadezer were old enemies. He brought with him gifts of silver, gold, and bronze. King David consecrated these along with the silver and gold from all the nations he had conquered, from Aram, Moab, the Ammonites, the Philistines, and from Amalek, along with the plunder from Hadadezer, son of Rehob, king of Zobah. David built a victory monument on his return from defeating the Arameans. Abishai, son of Zeruiah, fought and defeated the Edomites in the Salt Valley. 18,000 of them were killed. David set up a puppet government in Edom, and the Edomites became subjects under David. God gave David victory wherever he marched.
So, what did you think about that story? Did you hear the things that happened in David's life? Now imagine if you were going to write a song about how you felt if something like that happened to you. Well, next, we're going to hear a song that was written by people from today, but it's going to have the words of the actual psalm that David wrote. That's going to be pretty cool. We're going to hear a song which is the words that David wrote about what we just heard. I'm excited. Let's hear this song.
Thank you.
Gotta speed this thing up like David did in 2 Samuel chapter 8.
Because in 2 Samuel chapter 8, David wins
A battle over the Transjordan. And then he writes this psalm, Psalm 60, and that's what this is. This is from Psalm 60. So check it out. He will tread down our foes when he strove with Aram Naharaim and with Aram Zobah and with Joab on his return struck down 12,000 of Edom in the valley of Salt. Oh God, you've rejected us, broken our defenses. You've been angry. Oh, restore us. Oh, restore us. Oh, restore us. You have made the land to quake. You have torn it open. Repair its breaches, for it totters. Repair its breaches, for it totters. Oh, you have made your people see hard things. You have given us wine to drink. That made us stagger. That made us stagger. It made us stagger. It made us stagger. Oh, you set up a banner for those who fear you, so that they may flee to it from the bow. Oh, Selah, that your loved ones may be delivered. Give salvation by your right hand on. Answer us. God has spoken in his holiness with exaltation. I will divide up Shechem and a portion of the vale of Succoth. Gilead is mine, Manasseh is mine, Ephraim is mine, Judah is my scepter. Moab is my wash basin. Upon Edom I cast my shoe. Over Philistia I shout in triumph. Ooh, who will bring me to the fortified city? Who will lead me to Edom? Have you not rejected us, O God? You do not go forth, O God, with the armies. Ooh, oh, grant us help against the foe. For vain is the salvation of man. With God shall we do valiantly. It is he who will tread down upon our foes. Yo, yo.
Finish him.
All right, I hope you enjoyed that song too. Now can you guys see how David's stories and David's songs kind of go together? The next thing I want to talk to you guys about is the Psalms. Now, I don't have the Psalms in our fun little up and down chart this time, but I want you to think about what Psalms do and how do Psalms relate to Jesus. I'll give you a hint. You know, when we get saved, when Jesus saves us from our sins, I don't know about you, but I get pretty happy. Some people write songs when they're happy. But you know what also? When bad things happen, like the fall or slavery or exile, when all these bad things happen, when people are sad, they write songs too. As we look at these Psalms, I want you to think about how you relate to God. How do you relate to Jesus? Do you sing songs? Do you write poetry? Do you sing? Do you cry? That's what the Psalms are for. But let's talk more about that in our groups. All right, guys, I love you. I'll talk to you next time.
The most magnificent story ever. From creation to Jesus, the Line It Up series.